Live on Facebook. And YouTube. How's it going, everybody? We got Elaine in the house. We haven't seen her in quite some time. We're going to see what's going on in her world. She's been out there for a long time doing what she does, and she's doing great work and has been for a long time. Very consistent, very pure, great intentions. Okay, let me pull her up real quick. Well, let's see. There's a lot of energy coming down last night and today. Let's see what Elaine's got. What kind of intel she's got on it.
Okay, start my video.
Let's see. Start your, yeah, there you go. We got to see your beautiful face. They don't look at me the whole time.
Hello.
what's going on, Elaine? It's good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you, Todd.
A lot's changed, and it's been over a year since we talked. A lot's changed since then.
Yeah. I think it's about a couple of years ago, actually.
Was it? I can't even.
Yeah, it might be. It's quite. It's kind of interesting because a friend of mine actually found the video that we did.
Oh, really?
And what really struck out to me is I actually mentioned to you certain planetary alignments of Saturn, Pluto, and Mars. Hey, bang, what's happening now?
Is that what's happening now? I don't keep up with that stuff, but you can't make this stuff up. There's no coincidences.
No. So exactly.
Yeah. So you're like, you're out there every day doing what you're doing, being true to yourself, pulling in some incredible channelings. Have you found anything changing in yourself since we've been in 2020? It just seems like everybody's just got a big mirror right in front of their face about an inch away.
A lot's changed because we're all evolving, aren't we? We're all learning. The energy evolves, energy changes. A lot has happened to me as well because I work in a Mahatma field, which is the 0 point energy. A lot of people see a lot of this golden white light energy around me when I'm actually doing my work. Certainly when I'm come live on video, whether it be to the collective or whether I'm doing one-to-ones or mentorship, sometimes I get what you call light beings standing behind me, like little shapes. The spirit of Horus appears as well. A lot of people have actually experienced the spirit of Horus. So a lot has really changed. But then again, I'm a transfiguration medium. So, as a transfiguration medium, healer, mediumship, we're always developing our abilities. So, you know, it's never changing. It's just evolving. That's all we're doing, is evolving.
Yeah.
Energy's changing as well. So there's a lot. Even the structure of mediumship is changing. So we're entering amazing times, but also challenging times.
I think the whole trip's been challenging. I actually think we have
Yes.
less of a challenge now than we've had in our past. You
Oh,
brought
yeah.
up a really cool point there, though. You said even mediumship is changing. One of the things I noticed toward the end of last year was there was some kind of shift in, there's been, I guess, a template, and it was much needed, and it's still being used, and it's still needed. And that's been like the teacher student, the yogi, the guru, the master, or frequency of it, maybe in one aspect or two aspects or whatever. And then there seemed to be like a shift as we got into this year. You see more and more people becoming self-empowered, and I've had a lot of healers like yourself on here this year, and they've talked about how their modalities and processes and means and ways have changed. Like they've even said, like, well, what do you do with clients? And they're like, well, now it just depends. They walk in the door and then I know what to do, but it's never the same thing twice. What do you mean by mediumship has changed?
Well, first and foremost, the old school mediumship, if you look at old school mediumship, everything is in dark room. Everything, you had to be in the dark room. So everything is dark conditions. Certainly if you're doing physical work, trance work, physical mediumship, and that's now shifted because I do things, it's like spirits are not confined to certain conditions. The energy, which is the cosmic flow of energy, has changed dramatically. So I'm actually doing stuff that's within the light. Now, old school mediums may turn around and say, well, for a medium to do actually, do stuff that's in light conditions as well as dark conditions could be dangerous to the medium. But it hasn't been dangerous for me, because at the end of the day, I think the structure of us as humans is changing. Our energy structures changing. My whole energy structures changed. So for me to actually align with the spirit of Horus when we do that trance blend, I have to work upon myself, my energy structure, as well as he kind of says, I come from 33rd density to 6th density to come into this space. So basically that energy structure, our energy structures changed, as well as they're able to facilitate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like maybe they have, maybe they have an easier time of connecting with people that have, done work and gotten their frequency up, something to that effect.
Absolutely, because what it is at soul level, as we're working and evolving, we're going up into the 5th dimension. So our energy structure changes when we're in the 5th dimension. So there we're working on our energy frequency. So we're working and operating at 5th dimension. It makes that connection far clearer. And I always say, and certainly on the mentorship program, if you're working at 5th dimension and you're up at 5th dimension, you're going to start having connections and feelings, and your clair senses start activating. So you start feeling energy, you start feeling shifts that are happening. Your clairaudience activates, you start hearing tones, you might hear whispers, you might sense things that are around you. You understand what I'm saying? So your whole energy field activates once you're hitting for that frequency. So and that's something I do on my mentorship program. I'm actually helping people to understand what's actually happening, but also helping them to connect with themselves, connect with their akashic records, connect with the guides and stuff like that, because it gives them an understanding. Oh yes,
I'm not crazy.
So, exactly.
I'm not the only one that hears whispers. right?
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
it seems like, that, well, I think what you said a minute ago about the change in mediumship, like in just your own experience too, like there seems to be more accessibility. There's more, what I want to say, like more of an effect, and even a direct effect when we get to a certain frequency, or as we get to another elevation or expansion, things start to happen and flow, and coincidences and synchronicities and all that.
Oh
Um,
yes.
yeah, it's now what is you said you work in the Mahatma? That's a 0 point field.
It is a golden white light energy. The Mahatma means enlightened one. But the Mahatma energy and frequency, if you're working within that frequency or energy, so if I was to say, right, take you on a meditation, and I often do, and I say, right, just imagine once you've grounded into Mother Earth, just bring that golden white light energy, bubble yourself up. This energy and frequency actually helps with transmutation. It helps with the energy, frequency, and vibration, and it helps on the ascension process as well. It helps that soul to connect with the ascension. How did that happen to me? It just happened to me overnight. I didn't even ask for it. I didn't think of it. It's just because purely I work with the spirit of Horus. I'm
Mm,
doing what I'm doing. And it was just one day I was doing a live video on Facebook, and people like, a couple of people like, I can see Mahatma around her. Like,
wow. Wow.
yeah, it is basically an energy that any enlightened soul, um, it it just transpires. It happens. So for me, I'm just thinking maybe it's my soul force energy,
Mm,
who I am, working with Horus, and I just haven't stopped from there. Sometimes I come live on video, and all of a sudden, it's like a light show, absolute light show. So basically, it starts going gold, pink, green, blue, and it's just bing, bing, and it's just
mm,
like, and I'm just like, okay, thank you, because it's about them actually saying, and also my energy field. It's like, thank you, no,
yeah.
okay, I must go with the flow here.
Mm,
So it's like that. And there's plenty of those incidences on my live videos on Facebook. And I'm
mm,
sitting there, I come live, I plan something, I try and plan something, but no, spirit, I've got something else.
yeah. Isn't that
I've
how it
got
works
on
though? The
agenda.
spontaneous. It's like
Absolutely.
anytime we try to plan anything, it just it doesn't seem to work out. I guess you plan it, you have like the expectations, even though you're just trying to figure out what you're going to do. I can totally relate to that. What about like, wow, April was just like amazing. And you're a practitioner, you're working with people every day. Were you seeing a substantial impact on people this past month when you were doing sessions?
Um, it's been a mixture. The people that come to me, I feel are guided to come to me. Um, and I always say they're guided to come to me. It's the guidance.
Mm,
Um, so people are all at different levels. It's not about the people who come to me, because I often find it's about the empowerment. So I'm always, when I'm in session, it's about the empowerment. I'm always teaching empowering, and empowering them to be the best that they can be, to unfold their abilities.
mm,
And it's through the connection with the akashic field. So if you're tapping into certain past lives or timelines or something like that, they can discover themselves. They
yeah.
can discover certain abilities that they can bring into this now. Even it's also good for healing. But it's not so much about my following. If we go onto social media as a whole, there's so much going on. It's
Mm,
crazy.
mm-hmm.
And it is a social media stream. I'm finding it crazy. So
Yeah.
what spirit have told me is to detach yourself from what's going on
Yes.
social media,
That's
because and just to take yourself within.
yeah. That's what I've been getting,
Yeah.
Well, and even without even trying, I mean, I really haven't surfed a lot. I share post into the Soulspeaks group every day, so I notice the things that, and you're right. There's like a lot of there's a lot of what polar identity. There's a lot of
Polarized. It's the
yeah,
polarization.
yeah,
And I actually, strangely enough, Todd, one of my recent videos, I felt that there was a split in the energy.
mm,
Whether it's a split is the understanding from what I'm getting, or is it the polarized? And I'm getting a very strong polarized field.
yeah,
And you either you're either going to connect with love, or you're going to connect with the fear and the
yeah,
judgment.
yeah,
And this is what I'm getting. It's love, compassion in action. And this is what I'm trying to say. Compassion in action
yeah,
is the key words from spirit at the moment. Or you're getting the fear and the judgment and stuff like that. And it's that I'm being told just to disconnect, to disengage from that, because there is a
yeah,
lot of that being fed
yeah.
into the collective field at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, what's interesting to me is, you know, of course, people have talked about a great divide and getting wider and wider and wider. And I think, you know, what we're experiencing and what we try to explain, it's very difficult because we're really, you know, not restricted to just 3D expressions, but it's kind of hard to explain it in only 3D terms. But one of the things I'm noticing is, you know, what seems to be a polarity in it. I guess there's many, many polarities, but I see like on one side, like kind of a righteousness kind of frequency. And it's, to me, it's based on human love. You
Mm,
know, it's like, I want to help. I want to show who the bad guys are. I want to point this out about what's wrong about this or that. And then the other side might be straight fear, which has probably
yeah.
got some element of love in it too, where, you know, I'm scared of this
Mm,
virus, or I'm scared of this, or, you know,
mm,
but it, to me, it seems like a pretty good sign because, you know, people, you know, are kind of like swinging like a pendulum, you know, and they go from one extreme to the other, and ultimately we'll get to that Mahatma 0 point field, you know, but it's
I'm
interesting. Yeah.
I'm also going to bring in certain planetary action that's taking place, because if you look at what's actually happening, we've just had a transition of Saturn going into Aquarius. That took place at equinox.
Mm.
Equinox is if kind of around the 21st of March this happened. And
Yeah.
if you think, certainly in the UK, that's around the time that we had the lockdown,
Yeah.
and
That's
certainly
right.
probably in the United States.
Yeah.
So there was a transition of Saturn going in from Capricorn, and that is the ruling. That is actually the rule. It rules. Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, so it's shifted into Aquarius. Because we're having a shift into the Aquarius, even now we're shifting from Haitian age to Aquarian age. So this massive shift's happening. We're also just gone in we're looking at Pluto as well. So we had right at the beginning of this year, we've had Pluto, we've had Mars, we've had Saturn, certain Saturn and Pluto side by side. Now, if I kind of explain how it represents, so Saturn is the Lord of Karma, so it's the Osiris, Lord of Karma. Pluto is Set and chaos, shadows, and stuff like that. So this is what the planets are representing. So we're having them completely in alignment with each other right at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. Now we've got that's made a little bit of a shift into Aquarius. We are now still got Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, and Capricorn ruling planet Saturn. Now it's retrograde. It's crazy because
What?
what it's now inviting us to do is working upon our shadows.
Yeah. Well, you know, I hope people are doing it by now. I think that's been kind of a message the whole time. But yeah, I think it is. That's what I said at
It's
the top of the
shadows.
show. Yeah, that's what I said at the top of the show. It's like since 2020, there's a mirror in front of our face, and it gets bigger and bigger and closer to us. So like, you know, and I think this whole lockdown quarantine thing is, you know, being a physical representation of that energetic reality. You know,
Yeah.
take a look at yourself in all moments. But to our credit, I think people are getting it. I think people might be projecting, they might act out. I'm right there with everybody, but you can quickly catch yourself, and you can, delete, sweep it clean, and go from there. It's like the processing time has gone quantum.
Oh, it has. It has. Also, I mean, energetically, it's a challenge. Saying that, I shared a post not so long ago, and this is metaphoric. It's metaphors, because when I'm connecting and working with spirit, everything comes in metaphors. So when I'm working with Horus, condensed wisdom, metaphors. So often when I'm working, lots of the messages go really deep, and may not resonate right now, but maybe 2 years later, oh, right, and it happens like that. So it's like he was right. Messages I was sharing out last year was golden harvest, golden harvest, golden harvest. That's what's happening.
The gold has been a huge deal for the last few months,
Yeah.
and into last year. People talking about golden liquid, golden particles, golden light beams, golden white ray, and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm working in. Golden light, golden, and a lot of golden beings. Yeah. So it's so if you look at the metaphors, and that I work in metaphors. So I shared something, and it's just on my post, and it says, we are now being invited to go inside.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's in their house.
And we had, on a spiritual level, we're having to go within.
Yeah.
Spiritual distancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mask on your face. In other words,
Purging.
yeah. So between the toilet paper and the mask, look at your own stuff and keep your mouth shut.
Well, I actually shared a photograph, and it had a dog looking out the window, and it says, why are all the humans wearing muzzles? Have they actually bitten someone?
Yeah, they bitten themselves. Yeah, if we open our
And
mouth,
it's
we bite ourselves. Yeah.
Mother Nature is having her field day at the moment, I'm afraid, Todd, because it's like, oh, karma.
Mm-hmm.
We put the muzzles on the animals, now we're going around.
Yeah, it's like and people talk about instant manifestation, but one thing there that is very evident is there is an instant karma frequency kicking in now. There's something about the universe assisting us when we do project or act out or whatever the case is, or however that comes to us, something we were unconscious about. But so much of this year has just been that mirror on ourselves. It's like the universe is supporting us and not looking at the external. And of course, the isolation's helping a lot too. And then, of course, people living together that are having to be in the same house when they all were going to work before, that creates a whole nother dynamic of maybe you need to have this conversation or that conversation, or maybe you think about how you did or how you acted and that type of thing.
There's a lot of dynamics going on out in the reality. So you're going to have a lot of dynamics. Some people are kind of liking to coming in, it's spiritual, and certainly for my dynamic, it's kind of, for me, I'm like, okay, it's a spiritual process.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the dynamics on the physical plane, the 3D levels. So people are, having to adjust into a different way of life.
Yeah.
And then you have some of the statistics like domestic abuse happening, vulnerabilities happening, and stuff like that. So then you got the fear and the anxieties kicking in and stuff like that. So from my point of view, yes, I'm see things from a rider and not from a tunnel vision so much.
Yeah.
Also, not just am I working spiritually? I also, on my 3D job, I work in law and I work in policies. But my job, where I am, is a little bit furlong, so they're now sending me up to the cemetery to do some work.
To the cemetery.
The cemetery, to actually help families, to also making sure social distancing is in place, certainly when the funerals are taking place. So I'm sitting here, this is interesting because I'm a medium and I'm now helping people, you know, in the transitional process.
It's taken on a physicality.
It is. It's, and I say, well, that's interesting because I'm working in public service. They say, can you just go? You know, we're being told to go here, there, and everywhere. You know, but I am now helping the funerals. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like you're holding up both ends of the spectrum, the 3D and the 5D, in a positive way, in alignment.
Absolutely.
So do you, I mean, I know you talked about the astrology and I know you channel Horus and others because I've seen you. Do you, I mean, do you like have to dial up or does it just come in sometimes?
Spirit is present. So basically I don't dial up. It's not like that. So basically as a medium, you have the spirit presence, and a lot of people have actually seen his presence on live, on video, experienced his spirit presence. So basically what it is, I purely work with him. I've done a lot of akashic work with him as well. So technically, for me, it's a blending. So it's not so much a channeling as such. We actually blend. It's the trance transfiguration blend.
Yeah.
It's a merging of his spirits. So basically what happens with me, my consciousness steps to one side, he then steps in. What a lot of people have also experienced is what he does, he works with my energy fields. So he works with different faculties like cryptoplasm, photoplasm, not so much on the ectoplasm, because ectoplasm is another stream from the old school, but now they're working on the plasma. So basically what he does, he works upon my energy field. So basically what people can then see is like a hologram that goes over my face. So if you're medium, if you're sharp, you will see I then change into masculine. And what he then does, he flips the switch and he changes his form over my face. And a lot of mediums are actually, oh my God, your guides, because he works with the akashic records. He's the master of the scrolls. He works with the akashic records. And this is why I'm able to been working with his spirit on the akashic records, his akashic records, my akashic records. So and I'm able to help people with their akashic records.
Wow.
I'm also I also, not only am I aware of the akashic, how the akashic works within the scope of reading, connection and healing, because it encompasses the whole lot. It encompasses also past lives, ancestral lives, the karmic wheel, your cellular memory. So everything encompasses at the whole, the DNA blueprints, the genetic codes, and the karmic wheel. So then that comes in. Within that compasses, looks at the involvement of any healing that you need, anything that needs to be addressed in this now, and so forth. So not only am I doing it from mediumship point of view, I'm also doing it from a regression point of view. I'm also working on life between lives. So life between lives, working with soul groups, soul councils, the karmic board.
Now, are you working with the councils and the karmic boards when you're working with a person one-on-one? Okay.
I can actually be working, as I say, I work with spirit guides, purely spirit guides, with the card, as I say, Horus's counsel anyway. So purely working with the spirit guide level. So spirit guides conversing with each other. I connect as well because I connect with my team. I also, when I'm working, if I'm doing it from reading point of view, I then am being shown stuff. I'm also working on number frequencies, the dates of birth, the plans. So the soul, even what's happening now, manifesting in this now, when you go into trance state, what spirit will tell you, you have made your soul contracts. All these souls that are experiencing this now event have, it's been preordained, pre-orchestrated. The souls have come down to experience what's need to be experienced at this now. When souls are losing their lives to the coronavirus, for example.
Yeah.
They knew, because we actually have signed those contracts. We plan our dates of birth. We even plan when we return. Even though spirit won't tell you when you're going to go, but we know.
Yeah.
We planned it. We plan our lessons. We plan what we want to experience, how we experience them, and how we address those lessons and experiences is down for the soul. Now, as the soul is evolving through that experience, say for somebody who's experienced homelessness or abuse, and you know, it's how you turn it around as a soul to help another person, and that becomes very good karma. That you're turning that around, and you are then saying, right, I want to help someone. I've experienced this, and that's evolvement.
Yeah, help yourself. That's to start with. Yeah, because it does. I mean, I think it's become pretty obvious, pretty apparent that our lives are, you know, the external experience of our lives is paralleling our internal, you know, work and awareness and remembrance and all that. Now, do you, okay, so you got like, do you also ever connect just by yourself? I mean, I'm sure you do, but I mean, do you ever get any information like what's going on, like what's going on now? You know, like from a higher vantage point, any type of intel like that?
Well, I do stuff from higher point of view, but what spirit won't turn around and tell you, and I'm gonna, if you go right up into from trance point of view, and I sat on a trance setting last Sunday, and I'm going to do another. I'm sitting on a trance setting. So you know, when there is a trance setting, or if we're going into trance, and I do trance as well with clients as well. Horus comes in and he does trance. I actually do trance sessions. So basically, from when we're connecting up to spirit, and if you're having that pure intel, what they will say to you first and foremost, and I'm going to say this very loud and clear, that every single leader, political leader, have been called, right? There is no favoritism from the high councils. Everyone has been called, everyone's been guided. They have signed the soul agreements, but they've also signed a special contract at the karmic board because of the accountability that they have. Because if you think about our leaders, our government leaders, they have a special responsibility for the lives that are within their country. So they have a special agreement. So even from the karmic board, they have that special agreement. So every single leader has been called. So I do not gravitate to the governments or the political streams. That's not my guidance from the councils either, because the councils are looking at the whole. everything's moving, everything's evolving. Changes can happen tomorrow, just like that.
Yep, that's right.
And they will not. I do not. Horus will not come down and say, "Let me give you an update on Boris
Not
Johnson
what's
and
happening.
President Trump." Doesn't
But you
work
say,
like
but
that.
you say the leaders, the people that are in positions of leadership, actually have to sign like a an addition to their soul contract, which is a karmic retribution.
It's a comic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, kind of like watch your step, because you know, I mean,
yeah.
so that's interesting. Yeah, that
Well,
makes sense too.
if you think about the karmic accountability that they have,
Yeah,
for whatever decision they make, that that decision can have an effect on a wider outcome.
yeah,
So you know, it's about decision making and making sure that they're making the correct decisions for their country.
yeah.
So, and again, for even for their souls, it's not like they're going to go and sit upon judgment board or anything like that. It is a process of learning, even for their souls.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's
you
a
say
process.
you do now? Do you do trance on live video too?
I've done it.
You have.
I've done it live on video. I've done it a lot on live Facebook.
Yeah. So would you want to do it now?
I would have to prepare my energy to
That's
do
fine.
a lot.
I mean, if you
I
want
would,
to, does it resonate with you?
well, I would have to prepare my energy. I haven't, yeah, I would have to ask if they would want to do, if I'm getting that energy coming in. And then I'd have to take the speakers off because I have to remove metals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just connecting. Okay, Todd. So
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
the energy is coming in this side. I don't know if you see energy or stuff
At
like
times,
that,
at
but yeah,
times.
I'm getting energy coming in this side. That's Horus comes in from this side, so sometimes that happens. So I'm just connecting.
Yes. Yes. Take your time.
Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glasses off. I'm going to take these off. Right, I won't be able to hear you as much. Let me just. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm just taking one out. Okay, they're just preparing my energy right now, Todd. So then what then normally happens is I will shut my eyes. My consciousness will step to one side. It takes a bit of time for him to align. At the moment, he's preparing my energy field. So he's coming in from this side. This is for anybody who's watching. And what may happen, sometimes people will see energy changes, maybe change in light or stuff like that. People may feel a connection. Sometimes what people have when he comes in is a heart chakra activation. So I'm just, okay, right.
Awesome.
Okay, so he's now going to ask me. I'm now just going to start shifting. Okay, Todd. So
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Horus.
blessings, dear ones. It gives me great pleasure to come forth at this hour to grant every blessing. Enlightenment is the key to your path at this time. Many shifts are unfolding. All is as planned. We ask, dear ones, for you to connect with your hearts. For much is unfolding upon your earth plane at this time. Many of you are of understanding that you are here in the service. And as you grow and evolve, your hearts shine forth with love within your hearts. Many other souls will come forth in service also. Dear ones, remember you are the ripple effect within people's lives whom you are with and working with and activating with. The sower sows the seeds and waters the seeds. The seeds grow and they flow and they grow and they ripen. This is what you must do. Go forth and sow seeds. Sow seeds of love, sow seeds of compassion. Remember, dear ones, you are all part of the great flower of life. Allow the great flower of life be activated within your hearts. Balance is the key. We are working on the energy of balance and harmonization. The connection of north and south shall be united once more. Many shifts have taken place within the Americas at this time. Certain shifts are happening around Yucatan and Lake Titicaca as we are working with the flow of the energy upon the earth to create a more harmonized energy. I'm now going to hand my medium back to you. I bid farewell.
Thank you.
Okay.
Far out. Thank you.
Thank
I've
you.
never seen you do that. I've never seen
seen
you.
it.
I've never seen you two merge like that on camera. Yeah.
It's just, I'm sitting out. Sometimes it's the energy. I'm like, okay. Sometimes I get, yeah. So I'm just,
Yeah.
okay. Can I put my glasses on, please? It's just sometimes it's the, okay. I'm putting my glasses on. 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
There you go. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. And so this is what you do in sessions, and then you do it when you connect sometimes, I guess, on your own.
Yeah. Circle. As I say, as trance mediums, we're always developing our trance blends. So basically, there are 4 levels of trance. So that was kind of, I would say that's kind of level 2 trance. Level 4 is when you have the complete.
Yeah.
So it is, yeah, you have different blends.
Yeah.
So even as a trance medium, I'm still developing. I'm still learning. I'm still a student as well as a teacher.
Aren't we all?
This is what
Aren't we
it's
all?
like. It's what it's like. The teacher is the student, and the student is a teacher,
Mhm.
and it works around about, and everyone's a student and everyone's a teacher.
That's
and
right.
you know, I see myself as a student to spirit. So it's just like that's how
right.
it is.
Everybody's got a piece of the puzzle. I still
Absolutely.
think that we might all be, when we look from a higher standpoint, we might all be beating at the same vibration. It doesn't look that way down here. I mean, who knows? But it's fascinating to see that transformation or that merging take place. And I thank you for that, because that alone, without any words, just watching that, the visual, the frequencies, the vibrations, the wavelengths, I mean, that in itself was a hugely activating, to
It
the
is,
soul.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also what I do teach on my mentorship program, certainly when we're reading as well, Todd, readers, certainly mediums will probably resonate with this, people who are doing reading. So basically you have different types of readings and different types of connections, and it's like the way of the shaman. And that's how I see myself. It's like I'm working shamanically. So you're transcending yourself up the dimensions and back down the dimensions and up the frequencies and down, and you are going. So basically, if you're crossing souls over, it's, you know, like I do, sometimes I'm crossing souls over. So that's very much at the third, fourth dimensional. So then you're also looking at life path readings. So people who are wanting psychic readings, they want to know what's going on in their love life and their careers and stuff like that. That's very much like this. Then you go into mediumship, and you're connecting with loved ones, and loved ones are coming in from spirit worlds. Then you take yourself, I would say that's probably between 5 and 7. You're going up 5 to 70 frequency. So you're kind of going up into that realm, that bit there. So you're taking your shifting up there, and then you go into the akashic records, which sits a little bit above the mediumship. Okay, so and then you go into channeling. Now, if I was to channel, I mean, I can channel. Channeling is a different frequency again. You know, so basically, if I'm channeling, you can be connecting up with your higher self, for example, or a higher level consciousness. That is a frequency. So you know, so you can be connecting up to a frequency then. So if I turn around, let me just grab something quickly. So if I start, say I've got my Gaia deck out, so I don't get guided by the cards, for example. So first and foremost, that's interesting. Sacred Earth Mother. I'm getting very drawn to that straight away. That's just jumped out for me. So Sacred Earth Mother. Okay, right. Let's do a little bit of a channel on Sacred Earth Mother. Right. So it's a message of love. The message of love. So the Sacred Earth Mother. Okay, so I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm just going to connect up with my higher self, and I'm just going to. You'll see there's a massive change. You'll see there's a bit of a difference between the trance and the channeling. So, okay. Friends, the Earth Mother is going through so much change at this time. We actually thank you all for giving so much sacrifice over the last weeks. Having to come inside, taking yourself inside to connect with your own essence, and having opportunities to explore yourself from the world that's inside rather than from the world that is outside. As in doing this, so much has unfolded. There are no craft in the air and very little traffic upon the roads. The Earth Mother is now taking time at this time to breathe, to rejuvenate, to grow. The climate is now changing. So the energy and the structure of the Earth is having a rejuvenation. Many of us are connecting with you all down here upon the earth to nurture, to help you all to expand and to grow. Many lessons are being learnt at this time. The Earth Mother is now taking her time too, because the Earth Mother is in service to you all, just as much as you are in service to her. It is a divine and sacred partnership. Take this time, dear ones, to connect with the earth and the Earth Mother. Take your time to connect with nature, if you will, and allow the nature, the trees, the flowers, and animal spirit to connect with you at this time. I leave you with every blessing.
Thank you. And so it is. Thank you for those incredible demonstrations. We'll have to get together again, and we can't wait so long this time.
Yeah.
Wow. What a way to start the week off. Our first show, we had technical difficulties. We couldn't do it, but this was a perfect way to start the week. It's a powerful time right now. Some powerful energy.
Absolutely.
The energy seems to really come in fast and furious the first few days of each month this year. Is there something in the stars about that? Do you have any comments on that?
We have just had Beltane energy, which is the 1st of May. The Beltane is all about renewal. So the energy is very much focused upon renewal at this time. So just connect with the fertility. Again, Beltane is about, again, Father Sky and Mother Earth, and that divine union, the sacred union of and again, bringing everything back into play. Big message from Spirit at the moment is about unity consciousness. Yeah. The more that we focus on unity consciousness, the more that we are able to shift what is actually happening at this time, the polarized field. Yeah. So the polarized field, when we're focusing as light workers on unity consciousness, we're able to shift the polarized field. Does that make sense there, Todd?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. And and you said something earlier, which I agree with. I've been saying it for a while, not because I know anything, but I'm just observing that it's the big challenge is getting used to it, getting used to this new way of life. And it's so weird because you think, oh, well, that's just new age stuff or Eastern religion or philosophy. But yeah, it really is all regulated by ourselves. And we're not just creators or even conscious creators now. We're conscious, responsible creators. And that means taking full responsibility for everything, anything and everything. And to say, well, I'm only human, that's not going to work anymore. We are human. We're divine human in alignment with all of our multidimensional aspects. And it's happening. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate what you do every day. You help so many people and you set a great example. And I really want to thank you, especially for connecting and merging and integrating with Horus in channeling and just being here and honoring us with your presence. So thank you so much, beloved sister. We'll do it again sometime if you're open to it.
Oh, yes. God bless.
You take care. Okay. Bye.